유튜브 여러분 만나서 반갑습니다. 펌프킨입니다. 오늘도 여러분들과 같이 할 게임은 컬 오브 크롤러 이고요. 지난 시간에 이제 병동에서 탈출을 하고 이제 죽어있던 브래들리의 친구 콜든? 뭐 어찌 되었든 이제 이제 하여튼 병원에서 탈출을 하게 되고, 그래서 호킨스 저택을 은신처로 사용하게 되게 되는군요. 그럼 6장 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 오징어인가? 문어 같기도 하고.
Who goes there?
That nightmare again. I need a drink.
일단 능력치를 한번 봅시다. 6개를 갖고 있네. 일단 수사력을 올리고요. 난 수사하는 사람이니까. 아니요. 6개. 심리야. 일단 이렇게 적용을 하고 저치들 내려가야겠네.
No. I want to know what Bradley and Dr. Colton have to say about all this.
자, 이들한테 가면
How do you feel?
이야기가 진행되겠군요.
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
너
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
그치, 내 눈앞에서
What
죽었는데.
happened? 오컬트가 프로 레벨이 돼야지 할 수 있구나. 브래들리. 의술이 풀어야 되고.
What I'm sure of now is that the Hawkins case isn't just an accident.
And what brings you to that conclusion?
The fact that Charles Hawkins survived the fire.
I don't understand. Mr. Hawkins was buried.
That's what he would have you believe.
I have a hard time believing you.
You were there, Bradley. You even opened fire on him.
I'd remember that.
Why would he fake his own death? Do you think he covered up his wife's murder?
That's possible.
Seems hard to swallow. Don't you have anything more concrete, Pierce?
아니야. 이거 한번 해보자.
You two know each other pretty well.
It's a tiny island. Everyone knows everyone. Especially since I'm a police officer and Marie's a doctor.
아주 정인적인 얘기를
I
하는구만.
do seem a little bit stupid, don't I? Anyway, let's get back to the business at hand.
Bradley, what do you remember?
I don't understand your question.
The night we went into the Hawkins mansion. You don't seem to remember the tunnels and what occurred there.
그래, 나랑 같이
No memory of
갔잖아.
going down any tunnel. No, we were in the manor then.
기억이 없네.
What?
The rest is quite blurry. I don't recall how I came back home.
And then?
I went to visit you at the hospital and called on Marie's help to get you released.
And you don't remember the events of the tunnel?
I don't. Let's talk about something else.
일부러 돌리는 건가? 콜든에게 물어봐야겠다.
Given the energy he pours into Riverside, I presume it was Fuller's creation.
His father's, to be correct. He was a surgeon on board the Scylla. He founded the hospital in
Scylla.
1904 with funds from the Hawkins family before he died and his son Thomas Fuller took over.
Two families inextricably.
Most
저기에도
island
호칸스
families are that way.
호킨스일까의
Captain Fitzroy's father
자본이라.
was also a seaman aboard the Scylla.
Powerful families dominating everything.
Yes, and as you could tell, Dr. Fuller is like some crazed emperor.
He wouldn't be happy if he knew we were snooping around.
I know the risks. I don't fear him. Do you wish to know anything else?
I
Dr.
saw
Fuller
that.
seems to be leaving a trail of corpses. Not to mention those strange machines, chains, and tools of all kinds.
Yes, I've been telling you that Fuller uses his patients as guinea pigs.
What I saw was more akin to torture than medicine.
Do you even hear what you're saying? Dr. Fuller is highly respected.
It's the truth, Ethan, and I'll prove it to you. I'm listening, Mr. Pierce.
일단 얘한테서 얘기할 건 다 했고.
I have flashbacks. They
플래시백.
haunt me.
What did they do to you?
There was that Dr. Fuller and a nurse. Blood
고문을 당했지.
everywhere.
주사 고문.
My legs. The pain. I couldn't bear it. I was screaming. They injected me with something. I woke up at the institute. Bradley was there.
And how you scared us. You seemed demented.
You likely woke up during the anesthesia. No wonder those memories haunt you. What in God's name were they doing to you?
What happened afterwards?
When I woke up the second time, I was in a padded cell. That's where you found me, Doctor. After you released me, I got a good look at what's in store for the patients of the Riverside Institute. Hallucinogenic gas pumped into the cells. An infernal machine. Horrific medical experiments.
Impossible. Dr. Fuller would never do such a thing.
You should believe it, Ethan. What Mr. Pierce saw is precisely what I've been trying to prove. Did you discover anything else?
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins. And that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
I didn't see what, but something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
You're right. Without a plausible explanation for what I saw, let's not jump to conclusions.
That seems wise indeed.
Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
The other night's events are still confused in my head.
무언가를 알고 있을 법한 샌더스. 그 친구에 대해서 이제 어떤 친구인지 알아보기 위해 그 남자의 와이프한테 가게 되었습니다. 근데 왜 집이 졌다고냐? 그림으로 보이는 저 집들은.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That
Wow.
is precisely what brings
머리 모양 개구려.
Well, well, look who's here.
우리 탐정님 머리 모양 개구려. 여러분, 전에 머리 모양이 훨씬 더 멋있지 않습니까? 지금 와 완전 호구 같아.
Our paths crossed briefly. The brave detective has a talent for sticking
저
his nose into
캣은
my business.
사사건건
I
나타나네.
bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a
어디
small island,
분명 저
detective.
여자가
My
무슨
island.
키를
It's better that
숨겨진
it's you
히든 키를
bumping
갖고
into
있을
me.
텐데.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why?
고민이구만.
I spoke to
어떤
Francis before he died. His story
걸 갖고
suggests a
있을지
link to a
정말
case.
궁금합니다.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later. Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me. May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
What happened to your husband is terrible, Mrs. Sanders. But from what I saw, it was inevitable. The man I met yesterday had lost his reason. He suffers no longer, if you would allow me such a platitude.
Of course. Thank you for your kind words. Nobody in that hospital would have deigned to speak them to me. However, it will require more than that to soothe my mind. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
With all due respect, Mrs. Sanders, it was you who sent him to this asylum, not me.
How dare you? What was I supposed to do, Detective? Upon seeing such a brilliant mind disintegrate in this way, waking with a start every night with him shrieking in horror, petrified before this accursed painting, unable to look away, until he managed to gouge his eyes out with his own hands. I should have listened to Dr. Fuller, let him intern him months ago. If I am to be condemned, it is because I did not act sooner.
I'm not here to condemn you, Mrs. Sanders.
Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
May I ask you what Miss Baker is doing here? How do you know her?
My business with Miss Baker is private, Mr. Pierce.
But you do know what kind of business Miss Baker is in, don't you?
I am no fool. Please believe that much, at least.
How did you come to meet Sarah Hawkins?
We were the wealthiest and most influential families on Darkwater. Of course we would know each other. And when Charles returned from Europe with his sweet little artist, she and her sinister paintings were destined to catch my husband's eye. He bought many of her works over the last 5 years. They adorn his macabre gallery.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it...
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long. Did she really care for him after all? The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives. Frances Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even? A house of artists. Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler, "Finally." What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting? He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom? Was she jealous of Sarah Hawkins? She didn't want Sanders to have the painting. She must have felt devastated. The Shambler. I need to see it. Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes. I can't take any more. I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
Accursed gallery. Those accursed paintings, that accursed Sarah.
A strange Amerindian pendant. I could use one of those. Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
Another painting by Sarah Hawkins. One connected to the horrors I've discovered on this island.
What a surprise. I'm listening.
And you? What brings you to the Sanders home?
I'm here on business. Irene asked me to liquidate all these paintings. She doesn't intend to hang around here for long.
Why you?
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network and a means of transport to the mainland. A choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more pleasant, wouldn't you say? Not now, sweetheart. I'd like to read this without some snoop looking over my shoulder.
Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Go take a hike, Detective.
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times. The man transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery. The public entrance to the gallery. Why was he so interested in old weapons? Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection, or was he seeking to acquire it? These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times.
오, 해리포터처럼 그림이 살아 움직입니다. 오오오. 야, 여기서 괴물이 튀어나오는구나. 사라 호킨스 그림 정말 잘 그렸네. 저렇게 그림에다가 영혼을 맞춰서 살아 움직이는 그림을 만들다니. 와우. 근데 솔직히 지금 너무 영혼 없었죠? 영혼 없이 그냥 국어책 읽듯 대답을 한 것 같고. 근데 저 친구가 시야는 없나 봅니다. 아예 보질 못하네요.
What the hell?